So we completed 4 sessions. Since there were less number of participants due to vacation season and the festival, we just completed very less amount of discussions, even we had 4 sessions. If anybody missed out those sessions, we'll produce the videos, you can go through and we can connect and discuss if you have any queries. So what we completed so far, okay, out of the 4 sessions, what we completed. So Max, we discussed about the meaning of Oracle Fusion, Cloud, Financials, Applications. So what is the meaning of Oracle and Applications, Finance, Fusion, and Cloud? These are the terms we describe more detailed level. So along with this understanding about the course name or detail level, we have seen how to create user. We are calling it as implementation user. We created implementation user within the instance and we created implementation project. So along with these 3 items, we discussed relevant content also. So when we talk about implementation user, we assigned roles like application implementation consultant and IT security manager. Before creating implementation project, we discussed the product families we call as offering and different options we call as different applications we call as options. By selecting offerings and options, we created implementation project. These are the 3 key areas where we focused. So you will get videos on the same. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 videos. Please go through. We can discuss the end of the session today or tomorrow or in the next weekend or in between. We can connect and we can discuss over the phone or meeting. Yeah, done. Now, so here we created implementation projects. We'll just go back to our implementation project. So, already we discussed, this is a very much known navigations for us. Let me repeat once again, very high level. Okay. So, in 5 minutes, I'll complete what we completed in the last 2 sessions with a detailed discussion. I'll show you in the system in 5 minutes. Just first task is implementation user creation. So once you log into the instance, you can go to navigator. Under navigator, within the navigator under tools, you can find the task called as security console. From security console, you can create the user. So click on security console task and go to users and create user account. Click on add user account. So if we want to create user as a Amex, American Express, and we already assigned 2 roles, the same roles I'm assigning to this user, add roles. The 2 roles are application wait, it is taking time to fetch. Application implementation consultant. So here we have it to anyone you can choose. The rest are copied, ignore those. Select assign. So what is the use of application implementation consultant role? It will allow us to perform the setups in the instance. You want to implement payables. By using application implementation consultant role, you can do the setups. You want to implement receivables. By using the application implementation consultant role, you can do the setups. So any application setups you want to do by using the application implementation consultant role, you will be able to perform. And one more role we have to assign, that is IT security manager. Okay, select IT security manager, select and say assign. By using this IT security manager role, you will be able to create the new users and you can assign the roles to any user. It's all about security. To deal with the security aspects, we need IT security manager role. Click on done and set password. Here you can see password policy. Simple, at least 8 characters, 1 number. Okay, that's how you can set. So these 2 roles are mandatory if you are going to work as a consultant. When we are part of implementation project, you will get access to the instance with a specific user. Create your own user. You can start working on the implementation related activities within the system environment. Okay, done. Now click on save and close. Our user would be ready. So this is how we created user in the last weekend sessions. After creating user, we created implementation project. So go to, just click on username, or else better we can log into the instance with our user, whatever we created just now. Sign out. And our username is Amex. So already we created a project called as Amex implementation project. So once again, just let me walk through implementation project creation process. It's very simple, few steps. So click on username, select setup and maintenance. We are able to access this page because of application implementation consultant role. This page we call as FSM, functional setup manager. We call as functional setup manager. Within the functional setup manager, you can create implementation project. Click on task list or task pan. Select manage implementation projects and click on create. In fresh instance, you don't see any project. You find this page as a blank. And we have to create the implementation project. How many implementation projects do we need to create? For each country, we have to create one implementation project. Even you can create single implementation project for multiple countries. The implementation project just to facilitate system configuration, nothing else. Don't correlate with a real implementation project, how the projects can be managed right from inception to ending. Don't compare with that. In the system point of view, implementation project means to perform the setups. Okay. In the course of implementation, one of the activities performing the setups in the system. To manage those setups, you are going to create implementation project in the system environment. So let's see how to create implementation project. Click on create icon. Here you can give the name. So already we created implementation project called as Amex implementation project in the last session. So since you guys might have missed that session, I'm repeating and I'm giving the name as XYZ, the number I'm removing. Now the same name it will default. It is assigned to Amex. For the current user, the project is being assigned. And you can give when you are going to start doing the setups, by which date you will complete the setups. You can give the timeline and click on save and open project, or you can click on next. No worries, just click on save and open project. Now system will create the blank project. What are the applications you are going to implement for your client? What applications are in the scope? Those applications you have to select into this implementation project so that you will be able to perform the setups. Up to that point we discussed in the last session. Let's just open our implementation project. We can add the offering. Please.
It's mandatory to we need to assign the project to the any user.
We are not assigning. System is by default, it is selecting. Again, it is not mandatory, optional. You see here, click on edit. It is assigned to Amex, right? I'm not selecting. Not mandatory.
Okay.
You can ignore or else you can assign to different user. Search and select specific user and you can assign. Assignment is not mandatory. You can create so that you will be able to perform the setups. Done. This is how we have to create the project. After creating the project, what are the applications we are going to implement? Those we have to include into this project. So this is all we are calling as offerings. These reality product families. As per Fusion FSM, we call as a offerings. Now we'll go and assign financials offering to our project so that we'll be able to implement financials applications. To add financials offering, click on this plus icon. Search for financials. Select and click on apply. So wait for a moment. Whenever you try to add financials offering to your project, within the financials, we have a different applications. Payables, receivables, cash management, fixed assets, general ledger, tax, expense. These all applications are part of financials. System has to generate the task list. To implement all those applications, which is setups we have to perform. All the setups it has to generate. That is the reason it takes some time. Now you could see in the background, financials offering is added. Now say done. So this is how we created implementation project in the last session. Right, now let's focus on other points. Now let me go through Amex project only. Okay, this is how we created. Just wait for a minute. So go to task list, click on manage implementation projects, and the project name is Amex. So this is the project we created in the last session. So open this project, click on project, is open. We added two offerings. One is financials, the second one is procurement. Procurement we don't require. You can select procurement and you can remove. Click on yes. And this Amex implementation project, we assign to user called as Cloud ERP. Now you can change the assignment. Click on edit. So if you started working on the project, you can set the status. After completing all the setups, you can set status as a completed. So keep the status as in progress. It means we started working on this project. Now you may assign this project to Amex user because you given the name as Amex implementation project. Find our Amex user. Select, say OK. Save it. So this we call as a header section for the project. Within the header, you can change everything except code. Code is freezed, rest of fields are editable. You can change data any point of time from any status to one status to another status, from one assignment to another assignment. Dates you can, anytime you can change. All you can change except code. Now, we added financials offering. Within the financials offering, you can see all the tasks which are grouped into application wise. So expand financials and drag this column little right, you can see full task names. Here you can see payables application. Define invoicing and payment configuration. This folder for payables. If you are going to implement payables application within the folder, what are the setups are available, you can perform. To implement expense application, Fusion expense application, use this folder. Within this folder, you can find list of setups. If you expand it, you can see. So within this define expense configuration folder, we have many other folders. So expand any one of the subfolder. Here you can see the tasks. These all we call as a tasks. So with the task only you can do some setup or you can perform anything. Rest, whatever you see in the as a folder options, these all we call as a task list. It contains multiple tasks. So wherever you see the folder option, that we call as a task list. And if you don't have any task list folder, that you call as a task. So this is what we have to understand. So when you add offering to implementation project, system is generating the task list application wise. Now here is the fixed assets application and cash management application. And if you scroll a little down, you can see other applications also. I think in this instance, we didn't enable receivables. That is the reason receivables is not getting displayed here. So no worries. You know how to enable offerings and options, right? We'll go back and we'll enable offering within the offering called as financials. We'll enable the option called as receivables. So what we did in the last two sessions, I'm going to repeat the same step. Go to offerings, select financials. Financial offering is enabled, but receivables is missing. We'll go and enable it. Click on opt-in features. Just click on opt-in features. Within the financial offering, we enable payables, expense, assets, customer invoice processing. This is the receivables. Yes, it is already enabled. Maybe it enabled later point of time. So you can see just almost everything is enabled. Cool. Then receivables need to be displayed in our project. Customer invoice processing is nothing but receivables. So just click on done. Done. So go back to our implementation project to find out what are the different application related folders we have within our project. Manage implementation projects. If you click on overview, which project is assigned to this Amex user, that project only it will display. Click on overview. Is displaying these two projects. Just now we created this project also. I'm going to remove this. We don't need for our understanding purpose. We created one more project. Our project is Amex implementation project. So the XYZ implementation project I'm deleting. Please wait for a while. It takes time to complete that deletion activity. Yeah, cool.
So if you delete means what all setups you did for XY all will be deleted? It just
nothing will be deleted. Nothing. Whatever you did the setups, those will get stored in the database. So your project user interface will be deleted. If you have a project, through project you can reach so-and-so page to do the setup. That you will lose. If not one project, from other project, you can go to the page. Say, for example, you want to do some setup. Okay, take example, supplier you want to create. So from the project, you can navigate to supplier or customer page. If you delete the project, you cannot go to the customer creation page. If not this project, from other project, you can go to customer page, or if not the project, there is another way also going to the relevant tasks outside of the implementation project. The setups, what you do, those will get stored in the database. The front end, the user interface you are deleting, which will allow us to navigate to that pages. That's it. If you delete the project, you are just deleting the project, not the data what you created by using that implementation project.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, fine. So open this implementation project. Verify the receivables should be there. Okay. So why receivables are not showing? No worries, you can add it. Now you select financials, click on add. That receivables we don't call as a offering, that we call as option. Option you can select as a task list. You can say define customer invoicing. So what is the name we have seen that you can pick? Again, just go back to offerings. Say opt-in features. Sorry, select financials. Select financials, opt-in features. Please wait. For receivables, what is the name they are giving? Customer invoice processing. This is the offering name, option name. The same you can add it. Customer invoice processing. It should be like a define.
Maybe that is a task list. Maybe
Yes,
you have to
task list means option. Okay.
Okay.
Task list means option. It is not offering, right?
Yeah, it's not offering, correct.
It's not offering. If it is offering, you can give like offering.
Okay.
If it is a task list or it could be option or task list, it is a task list only. Single means task.
No.
Yeah. So let's assign. Okay. Customer related. No issue. Just this is how you can add it. Later we'll see. So ideally it has to be defaulted. It's not happening. Well, just this is how you can add anything is missing. You can select and you can apply. That's how you can include that into our project. Click on done. So here it's added. Define customer billing configuration. So anything you can add into our project. By default, it should come from offering. If something is not coming or you didn't include later point of time, you can add to our project. So this is how just you can keep your project ready. Say you started working on financials, then select financials, click on edit status. By default, the status would be not started. You can change the status to in progress. It means you started doing the setups within this implementation project. That's what anyone can see and understand. So this is all about implementation project creation. You can add anything or you can remove anything from the project which will support setups. Okay, so this is what you have to understand. Now, say within the financials, you completed payable setups. Here payables means define invoicing and payment configuration. It is nothing but payables. Select define invoicing and payment configuration. You completed setups, the same you can update in the system. You can click on this in progress, because financials level, we set the status as in progress. We started working on financial setups and the same is applicable for all the options or task lists. Click on the same status. You completed setups for payables. You can set the status as a completed. Say save and close. Now, when you look at this project, you can understand payables configuration is completed. Payable setups you completed. If you expand the payable related folder, which is nothing but task list, you have subfolders. Further, you can expand any one of the subfolder. Within the subfolders, we have a task. We have a tasks. So you can see for all the tasks under task list, the same status is applied. So this is how you can set the status. Okay, you can set the status entire option level or specific entire offering level or option level or for particular task list. Take example in fixed assets, expand fixed assets. So you completed so-and-so task. In fixed assets, you completed this task. Only one task you completed. You can set the status. Completed. Yes, it could be specific task or it could be task list or option or offering level. You will be able to update the status. That is one area what we have to understand. The other point is you can do the assignments. The project what we created, this we can assign to resource who are working for this implementation project, nothing but consultants. You can map to those consultants whose responsibility is what. Say I want to associate, I want to assign these payables to one consultant. You can select payables, define invoicing and payment configuration is nothing but payables. Okay, select this option and click on assign tasks and click on add. You want to assign payables setups responsibility to whom? Just type Mr. X. Okay, you can assign. The payable application implementation, if you want to assign to more than one consultant, add one more consultant here. Same process. We added one and you can add one more. That's how you can add. And you can set the due date. By which date the payable setups need to be completed. By tomorrow. Say save and close. So this is how just you can assign. Okay, this is how you can assign this specific option to specific resource or multiple resource. Now, if you expand the same payable related task list or folder or option, you can find the assignments. 2 assignments. By default, the entire project is assigned to Cloud ERP, and other side, it is associated with a new user also, a new consultant also. So this is how you can do the assignments. Assignment you can do at any level, specific task level or task list or option folder for specific application, or for entire financial level also you can do the assignment. You want to assign entire financials to one consultant to do the setups. Select financials, click on assign task list, and find the task, find the user. Assign. Done. Set due date. The entire financial setups need to be completed by next week. We set due date. So this is how you can update the status and you can assign resource to the project related configuration, maybe for entire financials or specific application configuration, or within the application, very limited setup related assignments you can do. This all can be tracked at project level as a progress of the project. Now just click on done. See here, it is showing the progress. We'll just come back once again. So once you log into the instance, click on username, click on setup and maintenance task. So go to manage implementation projects, click on overview. If you click on overview, what are the projects are associated with the current user, you can see with progress. This is our implementation project. Because of the status updates, assignments we did, we are able to see the progress. So 9% setups are completed. The count is 117. And 456 tasks are in progress. We updated status as in progress. And 689 tasks not yet started. In terms of percentage, 55% not started, 9% completed, 36% of setups in progress. And you can see this week how many setups need to be completed, and next week how many setups we have to complete. And go to assignment status by task list. And what are the different folder options we have as per that system is displayed. So define invoicing under payment configuration. It's all about payables. When you talk about payables, from payables 116 setups are completed, reality not completed, we updated status for our understanding purpose. And 232 tasks not yet started as a part of payables and remaining. This is how you can see. Okay. So this is all about how we can track the progress or assignments. Now go to resource status. Which resource are aligned to this project you can see here. So these are the 4 resources aligned to this project. Okay, this MX 16 and other user this 116. Again, see that this week only those need to be completed. And for this user 440, there is no timelines we given, due date. And for this user, 573 tasks need to be completed the next week. And here also you can just check this week, these many tasks. Next week. So next week, these are the setups need to be completed. In 3 weeks, how many? Nothing. Only this week and next week we have a information. That's how we given. This is completely for information purpose. Okay, nothing to do with this. No controls behind this. Okay, if I set start date today and finish date 10 days, that is just for information purpose. After 10 days also you can complete the setups. If you set payable status is completed, still system will allow you to perform the setups. This is just to track and to manage what setups you are doing, what is the progress. If you want to capture in the system environment, this project concept would be useful. We always do the setups from the project, but without project also we can do the setup. Once we get into those areas, we will discuss and we will see. For now, the note is we always create the setups from the project only, but there is an option to create the setups without project. If you create the setup through project, we have a certain benefits. The benefits are like you can move all the setups from one instance to another instance. If you do all the setups from the project, all the setups you can move from one instance to another instance. If you do the setups without project, implementation project, the setups what you are doing, it is difficult to move from one instance to another instance. Always we do the setups with the help of implementation project. We create implementation project, we select required offerings. Any setup we do from the implementation project. So this is all about, we have to understand about implementation project. There are a few other areas which we have to focus with respect to project. We will see. As of now, whatever we discussed. Any questions on the same, please? Any questions from anyone, please?
Lakshman,
Yeah, please.
how can we move or set up from one instance to another instance?
We'll see that, not now. That is a process. We have to create the configuration package. Once we are ready with the setups, I'll walk through that process.
What is the question? What is the question?
So how to move the setups from one instance to another instance?
Okay.
The answer is, by creating configuration package, we can move the setups from one to another instance. If you want to create the configuration package to move the setups from one to another instance, the prerequisite is project. You have to do the setup through project so that your setups will be in the loop. You will be able to extract the setups. System will generate the setup file. That file you can load into targeted instance. This is the way we move the setups. It's a purely functional task. We don't need any technical support. Being a functional consultant, we can perform it. It's very simple way of doing. Other questions, please?
Do we have workflow actually in Fusion Financials? It's
Yes,
not there.
We have, but name got changed. Are you from EBS background?
Yes.
Yeah, in EBS we have AME, Approval Management Engine. Now Oracle replaced it with a BPM, Business Process Management. You don't see AME in the Fusion, which you find in EBS. They replaced it with BPM, Business Process Management, which is very, very advanced and simple, which supports complex approval requirements.
Okay. I mean, they use BPEL, isn't it? That something like
BPEL is the language.
Language, yeah.
So by using the BPEL, Business Process Execution Language, they built BPM.
BPL. Okay.
Yes. We'll work on it. That is a part of our course curriculum.
No, why I'm asking, actually in purchase order and all, actually we have those, approval authorities, what do you call it?
It's mandatory in every implementation, if not one or other area, we have to use approvals. I'm going to cover that BPM in case of invoice approvals and journal approvals. Yep. Okay. I'll take you through how we can group the people who are authorized to approve, and we will test employee supervisory approval hierarchies, how it works, and the workflow, how it is they introduced, and what are the nodes, how to create the rules as per requirement. We'll just walk through what level of information we require when we are part of implementation project to implement approval solution. I'll be able to cover those.
So it is that BPM is a technical part or a functional part?
BPL is technical, BPM is functional.
Okay.
See, in EBS, you have workflows. Oracle is providing workflows. You can use those as this. If you want to customize the workflow, what you have to do?
We have to copy that workflow, and then you have to add some. I mean, like whatever you want to add for the notification message. You have to add those.
We need to add the attributes or something, whatever.
Correct.
Put something in there.
Yeah. the workflow developer, right, will come into the picture. They'll write the procedures and all. They'll do the mapping into that flow or actions. The same can be done in the Fusion from BPL side. Okay. Like however we use PL SQL procedures and all, here they use the BPL language to provide the direction to that workflow.
Yeah. So the reason why I'm asking this question, Lakshman sir, like, in EBS, we have something called workflow background process, the moment you, like, that will be running in the background all the time.
Here also workflow background process only, that workflow only, that built with a different technology. That's it. There is no difference.
Okay.
Yeah, in EBS, the background, there will be workflow process, which will keep running and it will trigger whenever it is applicable. Accordingly, notifications can be routed, approvals takes
place. All those general approval, general engineering, everything.
Yes, everything as it is. Okay, only the item is changed. There AME, here BPM. That's it.
Workflow background basically used for the deferred process.
Sorry?
For the deferred.
Anything. See, when you say workflow, not only for approvals, to process certain activities, you can use it.
Okay.
For all the purposes, you can use it. Just for approvals, or just you want to send a notification, or else you take example of order management. In order management, whenever you create the sales order, it has to go through certain steps, right? Creation, okay, reservation, booking, reservation,
enter, booking, pick order, release order, yeah,
ship confirmation, or else in between you may need another step called as approval, right? So with workflow, you can define the flow of work, what you are performing. It may be approved, may not be approved all the time. That's it.
So what level of BPL knowledge we need to have? We need to be like an expert, or it will be like an end user using it?
We need BPL. Zero level knowledge when we are working as a finance consultant, because we never touch it.
Well, how about if we plan to go as a techno-functional? I don't know if such thing exists in Fusion.
You have to learn end to end. Okay, if you want to work as a technical, primarily you have to learn. Okay, see, mostly the BPL and all, even it's a solution what Oracle is providing, it's very much advanced. Mostly we don't do any customizations. If at all you want to do customizations, or else you want to get into the role as a technical consultant or a techno-functional, you can focus on learning BA reports. Okay, learn Oracle Integration Cloud, OIC. Oracle Integration Cloud. This will help you to connect third-party applications to the Fusion application. And we discussed what is a SaaS and PaaS. More than 95% of clients are using SaaS. So since they are using SaaS, you cannot develop the pages. If client is using the PaaS, you can learn ADF framework. Application development framework, where you can create the pages and application. Now the page what you are able to see here, this page is built with ADF. Okay, page is built with ADF. So these are the areas where you have to focus. And if you talk about workflows and all, you can learn the BPL language, business process execution language, BPL. Okay.
So
please.
So in other than OIC, ADF and all, let's say I know BI reports we can just do and deploy it.
Again, it depends on the area you are going to focus. Say you are going to
in a SaaS model. In a SaaS model.
SaaS model, you want to work as a technical consultant. Okay, this is the one item, and this is the second item. We never touch this. In case of SaaS model, ADF is not required. Mostly we don't touch BPL also. It's very much advanced workflows we have in the Fusion. So along with that, you have to learn, because you are going to work, if you say technical consultant, you are going to work in any project very harmonized way. Right? You have to support finance, SCM, HCM. Almost the technical task would remain as these, but items could be different. So you have to be good at HCM extracts. Okay, HCM extracts, when we just do the HCM implementation, some HCM related task need to be performed by technical consultant. HCM extracts or HCM data loaders. These are the other areas which we have to focus.
Okay. So
and
you're
when we
saying
talk about
on...
BI reporting, that XML publisher templates.
Yeah, that I'm aware. Yeah. No, I'm more I'm more focusing on BPEL. So you're saying most probably
we don't touch.
And let's say if there is some requirement for that client, okay, and Oracle is not, that feature is not available in the standard.
If something is out of the box, you have to get it done with a customization. So BPEL can be customized, even it could be SaaS environment, because you
even in SaaS. Okay, just like BI reports, how we can still do.
That's it. See, you are giving the directions. It is not an application, how your flow should move, that we are going to set up.
Okay, but ADF is completely closed. Like I can't just do my own page or take a page.
Only PaaS you can use it.
Okay.
Only PaaS. It's all about creating the new pages and writing the very advanced procedures to set rules in the process or within the page level. That is possible only in the PaaS. But one thing, there is no great demand for technical. If 10 projects are happening, okay, only 2 consultants can support 10 projects. Very limited. You know, the big task for technical people in EBS is data conversions, right?
Yeah.
Now data conversions, they move to functional bucket. We can do that. We are going to see in our classes also.
Okay.
Yeah, done. Okay, let's just move on where we are.
Yeah, I have a question on this page.
I'll take these questions in the end of the session. This
okay.
kind of questions, better we can move to end of the session so that we can spend good amount of time. Right?
Sure.
Hi, sir.
Please.
Sir, like while assigning a task to various consultants, so those consultants which are already there, so those are created by you or like someone else? So
this is a practice instance, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those are available already there. Just I used. If you want to, that's what I mentioned. So once we get access to instance, who are working on instance, we have to create the users for all the consultants. That's how you will be able to assign when you create the project.
Okay.
I didn't create. Somebody created just for our testing purpose. I selected.
Okay.
Yes. Any other questions, please? Any questions? No questions. Great. Now, so once project is ready, you can start doing the setups. Once project is ready, you can start doing the setup. Once you get access to the instance, the very first step is create your own user and create implementation project. Then you can start doing the setups. To do the setups within the instance, you can go to implementation project and you no need to follow the navigations. You no need to follow any navigations. What you can do is, here we have a search field. You can find out any task from here. Say you want to create payment terms for payables. If you are not aware of what is a payment terms, no worries. Forget about it. We'll see later. So I want to create payment terms. Search. So manage payment terms, manage receivables payment terms. There are 2 tasks. You can click on this task. Here is displaying the same manage payment terms. You can click on go to task icon. It will take us to the page from which page we can create the payment terms. That's it. You no need to follow the detailed navigation to reach this page. So if you look at the navigation, just click on search to create the manage payment terms. To create the payment terms, this is the actual path. You have to go to financials. From financials, define invoicing and payments configuration. Under that, you have a defined payables. Under defined payables, this is a task available. If you want to check, we can go and see that. Okay, the same instance I'm opening under two different tabs possible. Same instance at a time, you can open under multiple tabs and you can perform the different tasks also. Instance will support. Okay, fine. Now, this is the path we want to check. Same instance, different tab. Manage implementation projects. Click on overview. Open the project. So here what path it is? Financials. Once you expand the financials, we have to go to define invoicing and payment configuration. Define invoicing and payment configuration. You can see here. One second. This is the one. Define invoicing and payment configuration. You can expand it. After expanding define invoicing and payment configuration, what is the next step? Here you can see. You have to go to define payables. Here is the define payables. Expand it. Under define payables, you have a manage payment terms. This is how you have to take the navigation, but not required. So if you know the task name, directly you can search. Task is payment terms. It is displayed. Okay. It is not mandatory you have to enter the full name. You can just give partial name, it can fetch. So this is how you can find out the task and you can perform the setups as a part of configuration. Okay, as a part of configuration. So this is what we can do. Now, so let's talk about few areas to start with our setups. If you want to create any transaction in the system, primarily we need three components which will support date information, transaction description information, and amount related information. Let's get into that more detail level. To create the transactions in the system, when you create the transaction in the system or when you record the information in your books, you have to capture the date and you have to capture the description of the transaction, means what activity you are doing, description, and you have to enter the amount. So these three elements are very, very important in every business transaction. We purchased, when we purchased, what we purchased, what is the amount. We sold, what we sold, on which date we sold, what is the value, what is the total amount of sale that we have to capture in the system. Not only buying or selling, take any business case, in the you can take any business case and you have to capture these details. When it happened, what is the amount. These we have to capture in the system. So if you want to capture this in the system, we have to create something in the system environment. If you want to capture the dates in the system, we have to create accounting calendar. You have to create accounting calendar, or simply you can say calendar. If you can create calendar in the system, by using that calendar, you can capture the date. The date always belongs to specific period. Now take today's date. 7th is the date, but that is belongs to John. Since the period is John, date is 7. Year is 2023. So when you create calendar, by using the calendar, you can just maintain the dates, and dates are belongs to which periods. If calendar is ready, when we are recording the transaction, you will be able to track on which date you are performing the transaction. How to create the calendar in the system? What are the points we have to take into consideration? To create the calendar in the system, to track the dates which are required to track the transaction when we are creating, and to generate the reports based on so and so date range or periods or period range, we have to create the calendar. To create the calendar, we should aware of the country financial year. Say we are implementing for India. When implement for India, the Fusion applications for any one of the client, we should know what is the financial year in India. If you are implementing for US, we should know US financial year. The same country financial year we create as a calendar. If you implement for US, what is the financial year for US? Jan to December. You have to create the calendar starting with the Jan and ending with the December. If you are implementing for Indian client, you have to follow India financial year. Start with April, end with March. So this is how you have to create calendar in the system. So that is the first point. To create the calendar, we should aware of country financial year. The second point. So when you create the calendar, what periods you are going to use? The very standard periods we use everywhere is monthly. This we call as period type. How you classify the dates, accordingly you can find out the period types. Day you can take as a period type, week you can take as a period type, month you can take as a period type, semi-month you can take as a period type, quarter you can take as a period type, half-yearly and yearly, or you can have some other segregations. Those you can call as period type. But when you create the calendar, always we use the standard period type as monthly. If you look at your calendar, how the dates are grouped with months only. Those maybe belongs to weeks, but the basic grouping is month. So this is another point which we have to finalize when you create the calendar. If I take financial year for a US, Jan to December, that means I'm going to create the 12 months. So along with the 12 months, if we need any additional periods, that we can create. Why we have to create additional periods? If period type is monthly, 12 periods are enough. That's what you can see reality. Why additional periods are required? For what reason we have to create? So end of the year when we are closing the books, if you want to pass some adjustment entries, you can pass in the last period of that financial year. Instead of passing some adjustment entries, kind of some provisions, instead of passing in the same year of same last period, you may want to pass in the separate period, the adjustments. There are many examples you can take. So you purchase something from supplier, you not yet received invoice from supplier, that you want to record as a kind of an adjustment entry in the application till you receive the invoice, since you are closing the books. Or else you may have some bad dates or different cases you come across. Those temporarily you can just enter into adjustments. This all you can capture into separate period. It is not mandatory. The end of the year when you are closing the books, you may capture all those into the same period. If it is a Jan to December, in December period you can track all those. But you want to track separately. You don't want to mess the data with the real periods. Since the adjustments we maintain just for a temporary purpose, you want to capture separately. For that, you can use additional period. Okay, additional periods you can have in the calendar. That means more than actual periods. Period type is monthly, 12 fixed. You can have more than 12. What purpose? Adjustment purpose. Since we are creating additional periods for adjustment purpose, the period itself you can call as adjustment period. How many you want to have? You can select and system, or we can create those. So these are the 3 points we should aware when you create calendar. The calendar you can call as accounting calendar also. Both are same. Okay, just call it as calendar or call it as accounting calendar. To create accounting calendar in the system, what purpose we want to create accounting calendar? When you create the transactions, we have to capture the date. To capture the date, we have to create accounting calendar. When you create accounting calendar, we should have information like what is the financial year in that country, but period type, it would be monthly. and how many adjustment periods client required. As a consultant, we suggest a minimum one adjustment period at end of the year. So if they are interested to have the same OK, or else if they ask us to add 2 adjustment periods, or however they are expecting to enter some adjustment entries in the separate periods, accordingly we can give. Always we suggest to have one adjustment period in the end of the year. If they require, they can use it. Otherwise, it will be lying in the calendar. In future, if they require, they can make use of it. So we have to take the decision when you create accounting calendar. Once you create accounting calendar, your decisions doesn't work. That means you cannot do any changes. System doesn't allow to do any changes. Say you created accounting calendar without adjustment period. After 2 years, you realize that it is always good to have an adjustment period. Otherwise, the adjustment entries you are processing in the real periods, those are creating some mess. Sometimes by users by mistake, they are entering some wrong data, and we are not able to figure out that is a real transaction or adjustment transaction. You may end up with some issues. Then you may start thinking to add adjustment period in your calendar. That is not at all possible. When we are designing the solution as a part of implementation, you have to take the critical decisions. Do we need so-and-so or not? Once that is done, there are many areas where you cannot roll back to do the changes. You have to continue the same how it was created. So that is the reason you have to take the decision very wisely at the time of implementation. You have to just think about the future. Is there any, because of growth in the business or expansion, is something we may require in that aspects. By understanding, we have to take the decision. Okay, as a consultant, we always suggest at least have one. If required, use it, or else in future you may use it. That's it. The final decision we have to leave to the client only. We are going to be there to guide them and suggest them what is the best approach of using this application, and we'll help them to implement. Means we'll set up the applications as per their business process and requirement. So this is all about accounting calendar. So we'll go and see how to create accounting calendar. Before we see in the system, any questions from anyone, please?
Hi, sir. So, does the adjustment period, which is there, right? So, later it will merge with the our.
Can you repeat your question? If you don't mind, can you repeat?
The adjustment period, which is there, right? Additional period. So later it will be merged with the total 12 months, or it will shown separately only.
12 plus 1. If you take one adjustment period, 12 plus 1. If you take 2, 12 plus 2, 14. No months.
How it will fit in, because we have 12 months, right? How it will fit in 12 months?
You have 12 months. Okay. You have 12 months. Jan to December you given. 30th period, how you can take? From the last period, you can take 1 day or 2 days or 1 week date range. That we call as adjustment.
Okay.
That's it. So it would be part of last period, 1 or 2 dates. That's all. You will see that system will take it automatically, or you can do the amendments if required. Okay. Any other questions here, please? Okay, good. No questions. So let's jump into the instance to create accounting calendar. Here is our implementation project open. Search for calendar, or you can search with the term called as accounting calendar. Both are same. Okay, as per system, you find it as an accounting calendar. You don't need to type full task name. So this is the task we required to create accounting calendar. Click on manage accounting calendars task. And here is the task called as manage accounting calendars. You can see this task is mandatory. It's a mandatory. Without accounting calendar, you cannot create transactions in the system. Now to go to this task, click on the Go to Task icon. Click on Go to Task icon. It will take us to the page from where we can do the accounting calendar related setup. It's a very simple setup. Just we have to provide certain inputs. System will be able to create accounting calendar for us. Just click on Go to Task icon. Now we are in Manage Accounting Calendars page. This is a practice instance. That is the reason you can see many calendars, but we are not going to use any calendar which is already predefined. So in the fresh instance, what approach we follow, the same we are going to follow. So in case of fresh instance, you can find this page blank. This is how you find, and you can create your first accounting calendar. Okay, for each country, one accounting calendar. If you are doing implementation for multiple countries, for each country, only one implementation project. Sorry, only one accounting calendar. Even implementation project also one only. So for one country, one accounting calendar. Fine. Now click on Create. And you can give the accounting calendar name. The name field allows very limited characters text. So input short name. I want to give the name as Amex ACC CAL. If I type something else, it doesn't allow. See, only 3 more letters it allowed. Rest it is not allowing. Very short name you have to provide. So in the description field, you can write the text. You can say Amex accounting calendar for USA operations or business or anything. Just say USA, And since you are creating accounting calendar for USA, as per USA financial year, what is the start date? Jan 1st. Start date you can select as a Jan 1st. Jan 1st to December 31st. And period frequency, monthly. You can take monthly, rest not required. Ideally, we don't use monthly. It's a standard which is used by any business. And rest of information you can see here, period name and format. So this is how system will create the periods, John, and John start date and end date, it can auto generate. You don't need to set anything. If you want to use the different period format, you can choose which one you require. So you need this, you can select. This is how the period names you can see in the system. I'll select this. Select this. Select it. This is how we can select. Let's proceed with a very standard one. This is the one which is very standard, which we use in the implementations. And here you can specify adjusting period frequency. Adjusting period frequency. How many adjustment periods we require? You have a multiple options. You can choose whatever you require. So once at beginning of year, once at year end, once mid and once at year end, once mid, twice at year end, once at year end, twice at year end, quarterly one you require, after every 3 periods, so you need one adjustment period. None means you don't need adjustment period, but always we recommend to have one adjustment period. They may not require now. In the future, they may come up with a requirement of tracking and too much of adjustment transactions in the separate period. If they don't take the decision now, they have to continue with what we create now. So they cannot change. See, if you try to select none, even system also will give the message. It is recommended that you define at least one adjustment period at the end of the year to accommodate potential adjustment entries. Do you want to continue? If you say yes, it will allow you without adjustment period. Okay, this is what we have to understand. So you may just, if you say other, it will allow you how many adjustment periods you require. If I say 10, 12 plus 10, 22, it will create. We never require this. So you can choose this. Once at year end. After 12 periods in every year, one additional period we require as an adjustment. So these are the inputs we have to provide. So budgetary control, it's related to budget concept. When we deal with the budget concept, I will take you through how it is useful. So what you can do is when you are dealing with the budgets, the calendar, what you create, if you want to use in the budgeting purpose, you can enable it, it can be used. When you enable it, it can be used only for budgeting purpose, not for normal transaction creation purpose. So when we deal with the budget, we'll talk about more detailed level about this checkbox and how we can create a calendar for budgeting purpose. We will cover all those. For now, our target is we need calendar which will allow us to capture the dates for each and every transactions which we perform. So I will given the name, description, start date, the period frequency is default to monthly, accept it. The rest of details also we are accepting, and adjusting period frequency is selected as a once a year. Then click on next. Based on all these inputs, system will create accounting calendar automatically with all the periods and date range. See, we didn't enter anything. We given this inputs. Based on these inputs, system created accounting calendar with just one click. So it created periods like Jan 22. Jan 22 is first period within this 2023 year, and it falls under Q1. And the start date is Jan 1st 23, and end date is Jan 31st 23. It is not adjusting period, it's a real period. And Feb, March, anything you can check, the same format you can find. Okay. And we selected one more period as adjustment that system created. The name it given as a 13 December 23, and it belongs to same year. It is going to be 13th period, and this Oracle is mapping that also into 4th quarter. And see, they took the date as a 31st to 31st, one day. If you want to change, you can change it. If you want to take it as a 1 week, take it. No issues. So if it is adjustment period, other period date range can be overlapped. System will allow. If it is not adjustment, it is ending with the 30th. If you start December month, 30th November and ends with 31st December, system will identify already the date is being used in other period, you cannot use. It will find out it is overlapping. But in case of adjustment period, the used dates you can use into adjustment period. That's how it works. So system created. Now you can just save it. Once you save it, one second, I'll take your questions. So let me complete a few points. Once you save it, okay, system will enable one tab called as add next year periods also. Now we created. The same calendar we are going to use for the client for their business transactions all the time. Whenever they record, they use the same. We never create any accounting calendar every month. Accounting calendar would be same. Inside of accounting calendar, the periods what we create, those will keep adding. But whatever the calendar we create, that we have to continue. We have to continue with the same accounting calendar. But inside of the accounting calendar, what are the periods we have, those we can keep adding when we keep moving. Now see, it got saved. After saving this periods, it enabled one tab called as add year. If we click on add year, it will add periods for next year, 2024. Let's try. Click on add year. It added. Now you see all periods belongs to 24. Now save it. If you click one more time on add year, it will add the periods for 2025. For 2025 year, it will add the periods. Wait for a moment. Now you can see 2 years periods are available. You can select all. You will be able to see 2023 and 2024 periods. So this is how we can create accounting calendar. The same points we have to consider when you create accounting calendar: country, financial year, period type, and adjustment periods. There is no other point you have to consider. So this is how we create accounting calendar. Any questions from anyone, please?
In the year 23 or 24, there are one adjustment period, right? For example, in the 2025, we need to add a 2-month adjustment period. So how can we done?
I explained already. You cannot do any changes. It's a one-time decision.
Okay.
Whatever you set at the time of accounting calendar, that you have to continue. That is the reason, even you don't need adjustment period as of now, it's always good you can have as a best practice. Right?
Now on the period name, so this is all auto-generated, right? We give it something and then it generates.
True.
Is period name customizable? Like we follow a format like
you can change it. See, they given
but that's not
format
right.
option. See here. Now also I can go and change. That flexibility anytime you have.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is the only one we have. We don't have anything different.
What else you are expecting?
We do differently. We do like FY, year, and then hyphen and month.
Okay. You want to do differently? Then see here you can go and enter it. No worries. It is generating. You can go and do that. FY something whatever.
Yeah. 2024.
Yes.
Yeah, like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can do it.
So this is for GL or this is for all including subledgers?
This accounting calendar for all the applications.
So what we do is for projects, we do weekly periods.
No, yeah, I know that. You are into projects.
And financials. And in financials, we do monthly periods. So how is Fusion handle that?
See, when you talk about projects, there is nothing like we use projects weekly. There is one option. You can maintain separate calendar for projects. Or else we use our finance related accounting calendar in the projects. Two options we have. That flexibility we have in the project accounting.
Okay, just like we call, it's called as PA periods and GL periods.
Correct, exactly. PA periods means your GL periods, if you choose the calendar as the same, your GL periods and PA periods would be same. If you choose a different calendar for your project accounting purpose, the periods can be different. As you mentioned rightly, weekly periods you may use for projects purpose, for project related. Capturing the cost and all you want to generate weekly wise. You can use that. But that nowhere related to this. You don't need to map that with this. No.
So for that we'll have to do another calendar.
Exactly. For project purpose, that's different. Finance point of view, we always go with monthly.
So this is applicable for AP and AR also, like this MX ACC.
All the applications, not only AP and AR. You name any application. If you are going to record the transaction, the same we will use. We use in the GL, AP, AR, CM, FA, projects, and purchasing, order management. You name any application, the same we will use.
So when we are closing periods, we close here and everything, all of them will be closed.
No, that we will discuss later. Closing and all, once we start working on the transaction part, you and me may understand in better way. For others, it may be.
Sorry. Okay.
It's something else. Right.
Lakshman? Why do you see, there actually just came to the screen, then I see Jan 25 there. Why is it Jan 25?
Yeah, Jan 25, why it is showing, there is a reason.
Here it is, Jan 25.
So if you click again add year, it is going to start creating the periods from this month. That is the meaning of Jan 25. Next year it is going to be the first period. Now we have periods up to 2024, right?
Right.
You click on add year. What is the next year? 25. In 25, what is the first period from where system has to generate the periods? It is keeping ready.
Yeah, that's ready. Yeah. And Lakshman sir, what did it like when you're adding the adjustment period? It didn't go to the 25th. Next year dates actually. Your adjustment period is between, again, within the December only.
No. See. 1 second. You see, it is looped into the same year, 2024 only.
Yeah.
But
Into
it
the
is
same
not
year.
going to be in between. It is inside of specific year.
So it cannot, I mean, you cannot go and change the date year to some 25th of, I mean, like 1 to 2025.
It belongs to specific financial year only.
Okay.
23rd, 23, here also say.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it cannot lie like with integration of for 2 years. Okay. Doesn't make any sense, not required also.
Okay.
Hi, sir. So my question is like, can the accounting period be changed as per the in the middle of the year?
You can change it. You can change it. The display you can change.
Suppose like we have firstly taken Jan to December, and
no, I got your question. The name, display, and all you can change. Rest you should not change. Everything will get disturbed. Okay, the data what you created, everything will get disturbed. There is no need of changing also, right?
But client wants like
1 second. It is not like your client or my client. It is all about country where you are running business. That's it. But you cannot change. If you want to change with some strong reasons, you cannot change it. Now say you made a plan. So now say we are using Jan to, in India, if you take India, April to March, we created accounting calendar. So there are some guidelines where the government taken the decision, we are going to shift from April to March financial year to Jan to December. Now to support this, Oracle should come up with a solution. By default, there is no solution. Okay. In these scenarios, Oracle can build some solution. They can help to the customers who are using the systems in India. And since the financial year got changed, amended, and accordingly, they can provide some solutions. By default, as per application solution, there is nothing. Now I created from Jan to December. If I want to change, my first period should be Feb. There is no other option. Okay. So you cannot change. In between, there is no option to change. Just you can change the display name for your period name, nothing else. Okay, no amendments can be done. That's it. Reality not required. If you find some reason, you cannot do it. When you are not able to do it, you can contact Oracle. Mostly Oracle also will say there is no option. If really that is a very serious thing where something changed in the country, they may support. That's all. Any questions, please? So please make a note of all these points. This is what we have to understand about accounting calendar. To create the transactions in any application, it can be general ledger, accounts payables, receivables. We discussed in the previous classes which application falls under financials, which comes under SCM, supply chain management. We discussed, you take any applications, any product family of applications, finance, SCM, procurement, PPM. In any application, if you want to record the transaction, we need accounting calendar. We don't create separately for each and every application. One we create, we use everywhere. So you can click on save and close. So that's how our accounting calendar is ready. Fine. Now, so we are ready with our accounting calendar. It means we can capture the date when you create the transaction. The other element in the transaction is amount. It could be any transaction or any purpose. Amount should be involved in the transaction. When we enter the amount, we have to address the amount. The amount belongs to which currency. If I go and enter 1,000 in the system, what is this 1,000? Rupees or dollars or euros? What exactly? You have to specify the amount in specific currency. So for every amount, whatever you enter into the system, you have to specify with the currency. When you talk about currencies, all the currencies Oracle is providing. For every country, whatever the currency we have, the currency name and currency codes Oracle is providing. You no need to create. Okay. That is not like as per your client or something else. As per country, everyone has to follow. So currencies Oracle is providing. Whenever you record the transactions, you can use those currencies. And what we have to understand about currencies. When you talk about currencies, the currencies are classified based on where you are using, where you belongs to. So you are running the business in USA. If you are running the business in USA, what is the local currency for USA? USD. For USA, local currency is USD, that we call as local currency, we call as functional currency. Wherever you run the business in that country, what are the local currency you have that you call as a functional currency. You are running the business in US, but you have a suppliers and customers in India. So you are doing the business. Okay, you have your presence in US only. Since you are running the business from US, that local currency is functional. If you have a suppliers and customers in India, so India currency you treat as foreign currency. It's very simple. Other than your local currency, all currencies you call as foreign currencies. Okay, we take India, INR. The INR currency we call as foreign currency. Why you are calling as a foreign currency? You don't have presence in India. You have presence in USA. That is the reason you are calling INR as a foreign. Now you are doing the business in two countries, India and US. For India, INR is the functional. For US, USD is the functional. For India, USD is the foreign. For US, INR is the foreign. It's always other country currencies foreign for us. Our country currency is local functional. This is what we have to understand. So sometimes there is a need of entering other than currency related information. So if you enter like this. So this may be dollars. Okay. This 100 may be rupees. This 10 may be score or kilograms or liters, meters. Those are also measurements. The dollars, rupees are currency related measurements, monetary measurements. But kilograms, meters, liters, square feet, these all are measurements only, but not related to money measurements. Those are non-monetary measurements. Non-monetary measurements always we call as statistical information. Okay, for statistical calculation purpose, you may use the data. So that also we have in the system as a stat currency. Stat, S-T-A-T. From the statistical, they are taking the prefix, first 4 letters that we call as a stat. Stat currency. Reality, that is not a stat currency. You are entering 1000 kilograms. You have to address as a stat currency. 1000 is stat currency. It's not a currency. Just anything, any amounts you enter that have to represent what is that is belongs to. It's a rupees or dollars or some kilograms, meters, square feet, liters, centimeters, or marks, score, etc., etc.
Or books.
For certain kind of calculations purpose, analysis and some kind of calculation purpose, we may use statistical information other than currency information. The figures what we enter in the system that may not represent all the time currency. Sometimes those may represent other than currency related measurements. Those we treat as a stat currency. So the bottom line is, the final point is, we have 3 types of currencies. That's what we have to note. We have 3 types of currencies: functional, foreign, stat. Stat is not a currency, but we are calling, since just we are representing what the value is. Reality, functional and foreign currencies. You are not going to set anywhere this is functional, this is a foreign. Okay, based on your usage, that will be addressed as a functional and foreign. And in few setups, you can select also, but clearly you are not going to mention this is my functional. The way how you do the setups, the way where you do the business, that will decide which is your functional and foreign. But just be aware of this terminology. So 3 type of currencies: functional, foreign, and stat. It could be any currency. All the currencies Oracle is providing as a predefined data. You can say all the currencies are available in the instance as a ready-made data that we call as seeded data. Or you can say seeded currencies. The data which is available, which is delivered by Oracle, that we call as seeded. Calendars, we are not getting any seeded. Oracle is not creating and not giving to us. We have to create accounting calendar as per our requirement. Our requirement means how many adjustment periods we require. We cannot have our requirement like I need a calendar starts with May and ends with April. Okay, that cannot be our requirement. It doesn't work. You have to follow the country financial year. So when you say our requirement, how many adjustment periods you required, how you want to see the period format, those could be your preferences. Rest, the standards you have to follow, what are the financial year is being followed in that country. So currencies, you don't need to create. All the currencies Oracle is delivering in instance. What are the currency you required, you can enable and you can use in the business process. In the system process, you can enable and you can use it. We'll go and have a look how we can just find that currency information, how to enable, what else we have to understand about currency data, we'll see. After going through that details, if you have any questions, we will discuss. So search for currencies. So here is the task called as manage currencies. Don't go with the define. If you click on define, inside of define, we will have a manage only. So 99% task starts with a manage. This is a task. These two are tasks. This is a task list. You can see task list. These two are tasks. Always you proceed with the tasks. So you can choose any one of the tasks. 2 tasks will take us to same page, but navigation paths are different. This is short navigation, it's a long navigation. But our target is we want to see the currencies and we want to enable the currencies what we are going to use. So click on any one of the tasks. 2 will navigate us to same page, no difference. Here is the task. Manage currencies. If you look at this manage currencies, there is no star mark. Means it is not mandatory. Why it is not mandatory? Oracle is delivering all the currencies. You no need to create. That is the reason it is not mandatory. So click on, go to task icon. Just hit this icon. You want to find out USD currency. Just find out. So reality only one currency. Somebody created additional currencies. Whatever the additional currencies are created, those easily you can delete. Okay, those can be deleted. Don't create for your practice purpose also not required. We never create. Oracle is providing, you can use those. See, this is created by somebody, I can delete it. This is also created by somebody, I can delete it. What Oracle is provided, you cannot delete it. So now I want to delete this. See, the delete icon is not enabled. That means this is provided by Oracle. That's how they're just protecting from the deletion. So you no need to create any currencies. Oracle is providing the currency that you can make use of it. You can enable it. If it is not enabled, you can enable it. But what Oracle doing is by enabling all the currencies, they are providing the currencies in this page. Okay, you no need to enable also. If you find any currencies disabled, whatever you want to use for the client business, you have to enable it. And here you can expand to see the more details about this. The currencies belongs to which country and what is the symbol, the precision and extended precision, etc. You can see. And if for any country currency is missing, you can create it. If it is missing, you create it. Just for practice, you don't create it. Okay. Say the currency name is G. That's it. This is how you can create, and you can expand it and set the symbol of the currency and belongs to which country. Okay. So this is how you can provide the data. Okay. This is how you can create if you want to create, but we no need to create. All the currencies will be available. You can just hit this search tab, it will display all the currencies. See, all the currencies are available. By default, okay, by default in the fresh instance, you get all the currencies with enabled option. All you could notice as enabled. So once you see all are enabled, whenever users are going to record the transactions, all currency system will display. For that, what we have to do? We have to disable all the currencies which we don't require. So this would be unnecessary information. We have a 200 plus currencies. When user is going to record the transaction, so why you are going to give the task to the users to select one currency among 200 plus currency values? That's a big task, unnecessary access to user. If they are dealing with the 4 currencies, disable all, enable only 4, so that user will be able to see only those 4 currencies. That's how it works. So by default, you see all are enabled. You disable and enable whatever client required. Whatever the currencies client is going to, with what currencies client is going to record the transaction, those you can enable. This is what we have to do. So this is all about currency. So enable it so that that would be available, or else you enable, it would be available, but you don't want to keep available for transaction. Say it should be available only for 7th to 14th only. You can set start date and date. So this currency would be available for business users to record the transaction between this date range. After 14th of Jan, this currency won't be visible. They cannot see this. So that's how system will behave. Okay. We never use the start dates and end dates. If required, we enable. If we don't require, we disable it. That's it. So this is all about currency. Any questions, please? One thing is we no need to create. Oracle is providing, enable and use it. Any questions here, please? No questions. Now, so we are done with date and amount components. So once we are ready with this date component called as calendar, and amount component means amount representation, currency. We are good with calendar and currency. Now we have to understand description. It's a very, very important component which will decide your implementation is going to be successful or fail. This component can decide the entire implementation. So that much important component is description. That we will discuss very detailed level in the tomorrow session, and we'll see to capture the description, the system environment, what exactly we have to create, how to create, what is the naming convention we have to use, and what are the best practices. This all we will just get to know as a part of description related definition. We'll see in the tomorrow session. The tomorrow session will go through description related, how it can be derived, what to create in the system. When you create, what are the key points we have to consider. We'll discuss more detail level. Maybe tomorrow the entire session we have to dedicate for this description only, because this is a big topic where we have to be very, very clear and strong. This is a very primary concept where we can prove our skill. Fine. We are done for today. If you have any questions, please stay back. We will discuss. If no questions, we'll see tomorrow same time. Yeah. Thank you all. If you have any questions, please stay back. We will discuss.
Hey, Lakshman, this is Ganesh.
Yep, please.
What is the equivalent of description in EBS?
Okay, I have to reveal that. What do you guess? Chart of accounts.
Chart of accounts. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, good. Yeah, basically they all go together: calendar, currencies, and chart of accounts. Yeah.
Yep.
But it's not included sub-ledger accounting, isn't it? Okay.
Wait. Just see. We have to grow, right?
Yeah.
It's like a born baby, how we can run. We'll go. We'll pick one.
Yes,
by
yes,
one.
yes.
You and me may understand. What about others?
No. You are right. Absolutely right. I agree with you.
So I'll everything I'll cover. There is the way I'll write. Yeah.
Thank you, Lakshman.
Yeah. Thanks.
Naming change in Fusion.
Sorry.
The chart of accounts name is changed to description in.
No. I'm sorry to just to understand in the better way. I'm just bringing with the basic terminology. Later I'll convert. See, I given the date.
Okay, yeah.
For date purpose, we create accounting calendar.
Got.
Amount purpose, currency. Description purpose, what we have to create, how we have to create, I'll talk about, then the name I will address.
Oh, God. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. Question is always good. Like asking question is always appreciated. No doubt.
Now I understand. You are making it going at the very lowest level and then coming up.
Exactly. I want to make everyone to connect it. See, directly I can say, see, we have to create the chart of accounts means what nonsense this guy is speaking. There may be guys to take in that way, right? Even I am not interested to drive in that way. So let's go from the basics and we can connect to the point, because if description is not there as a part of transaction, how chart of accounts will come into picture?
Got. I understand.
Yeah. For what purpose Oracle brought that concept, I am trying to explain. That's it.
Oh, that's the right way. That's right. Thank you, Lakshman.
Yeah, thank you so much. So now I think there were kind of questions somebody was asking. Now you can go ahead with any sort of questions we can discuss now. I think there were some questions related to calendar in between the session. I requested to park those questions to discuss in the end of the session. Still, if those questions, if you have any open questions, let me know, we'll discuss. Great, no questions. So that's all for today. I will just connect tomorrow same time. Thank you all. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, good day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much.